So when one of the most talented players in the MLB could be traded to one of the top contending teams in the league, but that trade would be able to help and fix a lot of the issues that the Red Sox are currently having with their team, well, we got to talk about that.
The bent, that's big views. Boarded the plane, won't be back to May. Now I can't camp it with you.
Hey, how's it going, guys? So today I am going to be talking about the recent trade rumors that have been going on about Mookie Betts and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So before I forget, don't forget, go down and subscribe. I post new videos every single week talking about the biggest sports topics, and I also do the same exact thing on my Instagram and also my Twitter. And what I do is I analyze really what is going on, and I ask for your guys' opinion as well. So all throughout this offseason, there's been a lot of stuff going on. You know, Garrett Cole signs with the Yankees, Anthony Rendon signs with the Angels, Steven Strasburg signs back with the Nationals. But there's been a lot of talk going on about what could be happening and stirring up in the trade market. So guys like Nolan Arenado, guys like Chris Bryant, and most importantly, Mookie Betts has been one of the top storylines all throughout this offseason. Will he get traded? Who will he get traded for? Because quite honestly, in my opinion, he is the Red Sox's golden ticket to be able to fix all the problems that they are having right now. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a way to get under that $208 million threshold, because they just had to pay $13 million because they went over that luxury tax. And they're also trying to find a way to be able to bolster that 30th farm system in the MLB. That's right, they have the worst farm system in the MLB because Dave Dombrowski decided we need to win now, and trade away all the prospects, and the future doesn't matter. So now Chaim Bloom, coming from the Tampa Bay Rays, has to come over, try and find a way to really reduce that payroll, as well as be able to build up that farm system while still trying to contend in the very pressure-built Boston area. So there's a lot of stuff going around on how the Red Sox are going to be able to cut that payroll. And a few of them are they could potentially trade Mookie Betts or trade guys like Jackie Bradley Jr. or David Price. And I actually talked about that in a video that I posted last week. But so Mookie Betts is projected to make around $30 million from his arbitration hearing. And quite honestly, the Red Sox don't have that kind of money to spend. And I think that this is the perfect position for them to go and trade Mookie Betts, try and get the most value that they are able to get back for him. Because if they try to trade him at the trade deadline, I mean, they're not going to, one, get as much value or as much prospect capital or as good of players as they would be able to if they trade him now. And also, if he's not really playing as well, his value is going to diminish. And, that could put the Red Sox in a very tough position. And you saw it in this last trade deadline. The Giants decided to not trade Madison Bumgarner. And look what just happened. He just signed with the Diamondbacks and they got absolutely nothing. Nothing. And I would really like to see the Red Sox be able to really build up their farm system and really be able to find a way to maybe be able to get somebody in either a Mookie Betts trade that would be able to really help their needs at first base, second base, or at the pitching position. So it came up in a rumor this last week that the Dodgers have been engaging in preliminary talks with the Red Sox about Mookie Betts. And they've also been talking back and forth with the Indians about Francisco Lindor as well. And a name that has been brought up in those trade talks is a guy like Corey Seager. And I think it'd be really interesting if we were able to get a guy like Corey Seager for Mookie Betts, because he would be able to be slotted into that second base position, and then we'd be able to move Chavez to first. Or, Chavez was actually also really working with the outfield people last season. So it'd be interesting to see if they could potentially slot him out into the outfield. It's not an ideal position for him, but it's awesome that we have that versatility with Michael Chavez. And so, in my opinion, Mookie Betts has a little bit more value, obviously, than Corey Seager, but Corey Seager has a lot of potential. But so with that trade, I think that the Red Sox would be asking for a little bit more than Corey Seager. But Corey Seager is also only making $7 million over the next 2 years. And I think that he would be a great bat and a really good high reward player that we'd be able to get in a Mookie Betts trade. And especially with a team like the Dodgers that have a lot of money to spend and also the third best farm system in the MLB, I think that they're a perfect trade candidate for the Red Sox. And especially when they offered Garrett Cole 8 years, $300 million, and they could potentially lose Rue, I think it'd be really interesting if we also tried to slot David Price in that trade, because he is owed $96 million over the next 3 years. And the Red Sox don't want to pay for that, especially when he's going to be a mediocre pitcher. But I think it'd be really interesting, especially for David Price, to get a different sort of scenery, especially if he was able to go to the Dodgers with his president of baseball operations being the guy who actually drafted him with the Rays, Andrew Friedman. And I think it'd be a great idea if the Red Sox were able to slot David Price in to be able to really be able to get all the money that they're trying to get out of their franchise through trades. And I think that this would be a perfect trade scenario for the Red Sox. Now, the Dodgers already have a pretty crowded outfield with Corey Bellinger, AJ Pollock, and Joc Pederson. And so I think it'd be really interesting what they're really going to do with their positioning if they do make this Mookie Betts trade. But I think what I could see them doing is, quite honestly, moving Cody Bellinger back to first base and moving Max Muncy to second base, and then the new kid Gavin Lux, who can play second base and shortstop, to shortstop. And I think that that'd be perfect for them. But with a trade that the Red Sox would be really looking for, I think it'd be cool that if they'd be able to get Joc Pederson in a trade, or get a guy like Alex Verdugo, who are both very good outfielders, both are very young, and especially like a guy like Joc Pederson, who's in his last year of his contract, he's only making $5 million. Like, come on, $5 million, the guy hit almost 30 home runs last year, and especially with a stadium like Fenway, oh my gosh, he would be hitting balls over that monster left and right. Like, oh my gosh, that'd be so fun to watch, especially for Verdugo too. I saw him in batting practice, and he was hitting moonshots. But both of those guys would be really cheap options for the Red Sox to be able to ask for a little bit more with the Corey Seager trade, and especially if they spice it up with throwing David Price in there. I think that David Price would be a really good addition to the Dodgers rotation, and I think it'd be something that would be really interesting. And so now, if the Red Sox weren't able to pry guys like Verdugo or Joc Pederson from the Dodgers, I think that they would be looking for a little bit more prospect capital, and especially in the pitching department, because they really need pitching really bad. And especially with how they haven't been able to be successful in the last few years, being able to develop pitching through their farm system, especially with Chaim Bloom being the chief of baseball operations now, he was able to find those guys over in Tampa Bay, like Jeremy Hellickson, like a guy like David Price, like a guy like Chris Archer, like a guy like Matt Garza. Like, all these guys turned out to have amazing careers from the Tampa Bay Rays, and I think Chaim Bloom has a really good eye on what good pitching prospects looks like, and I really trust him in being able to find those sort of good guys. And a few of those pitchers would be like Dustin May, who's number 2 on the Dodgers prospect list, Mitchell White, who's number 9 on the prospect list for the Dodgers, and then Dennis Santana, who's number 10. And so I think it'd be really interesting the way that the Red Sox would be able to swing this trade and really who would be involved. But those are just my thoughts. I figured since I saw the rumor and I had a lot of thoughts on it, I would make a video on it, just analyzing sort of how I think that the trade would go and how it would work out for both of those teams. So let me know in the comment section below. 1, do you think Mookie Betts will get traded? And also, who do you think the Red Sox would be asking for in a Dodgers and Red Sox trade? So thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, go down and subscribe. I post videos every single week talking about the biggest sports topics. And I also do the same thing on my Instagram and also my Twitter. So thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate all the support as always. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you next time.
Hold up.